It's time to come together to get it done so that we can truthfully say in America, no child will be left behind, not one single child.
Welcome to the not-so-wonderful world of No Child Left Behind. Over the past 10 years, students across the U.S. have been quote-unquote educated under this act. First, let's talk about what exactly No Child Left Behind really is. In 2002, George W. Bush and his administration created No Child Left Behind in an attempt to fight low GPAs and graduation rates around the United States. What the act actually does is force states to create standards for all school districts in that state. These standards typically include standardized testing, such as the New York State Regents exams. The act also puts more emphasis on core subjects such as math and English, while completely disregarding arts and the other subjects. Now, the act seems like a strong idea, and it is. A $48 billion education plan to create higher standards among our schools is good, but the way that this act has been carried out just isn't working for students. In fact, the act is actually robbing our students of a true education.
I think No Child Left Behind is fundamentally broken.
Essentially what it was telling states was really set low bars, or write easy tests, or set low standards.
The weirdest and most punitive laws ever passed.
From the numbers that have been received over the years since the Act's implementation, scores for students in the state exams are rising, but for the wrong reasons. The Act says that if a certain number of students begin to fail, the school will lose any federal funding. Because of this, states are forced to make the standards for passing grades extremely low. A student who receives a 45 on their state geometry exam can still pass the test. And what good is this doing for the student? None. These low standards are just a way for schools to escape losing money from the federal government. With the student's passage through high school being determined by their grade on a handful of tests, classes have become less and less challenging. The curriculum that teachers are now teaching students is one that is specially designed to get students to pass the state tests and nothing else. Students are being robbed of the education that should be preparing them for the future. Instead of learning how to work hard, manage time, and survive in the real world, we're just learning about types of rocks and other super important things. Not to say that our core subjects are unimportant, but in most situations we're not learning for the sake of education, we're learning how to pass the test. In a recent study done by the College Board, only 49% of students said that high school prepared them for college. This is ridiculous because that's what high school is supposed to be for, a preparation for the future. But seriously, whose bright idea was it to let this guy guide the future of education?
My speech to the nation. The human being and fish can coexist peacefully. And America needs a military where our best and brightest are proud to serve.
Not only is No Child Left Behind hurting our students, but it's also hurting our teachers at the same time. No Child Left Behind removes any solid standards for teachers, allowing for a system based on seniority instead of effectiveness. With no rigorous testing or regulations being put on teachers that are more efficient in educating are losing jobs out to teachers who may have been in the system longer than they had. In high school, we'd always have that one teacher that was an older man or woman, been in the district for 20 plus years, and really didn't have much going for them. Since they have the simple job of teaching how to pass these simple state tests, these teachers would never make any extensive effort to create a learning environment that attempts to stimulate the minds of students. What we need to do is reward teachers that do a better job in teaching students. According to a study done by Author Calculations, teachers around the world that are paid based on their performance have students score 12% higher than teachers that aren't. Now, what the real question is how can we fix No Child Left Behind? Well, for over the past 3 years, over 40 states and the District of Columbia have been attempting to revise their standards for schools, raising them so that students can retain a stronger education that will prepare them for the future. When the states made these reforms to raise the standards, noticeable improvements appeared in schools. And according to Ann Duncan, the U.S. Secretary of Education, these reforms are improving teacher and principal evaluations and support, as well as turning around low-performing schools and expanding access to high-quality schools. So, people wonder, if states are raising the standards and students are doing better in this situation, why don't we just keep it that way? Well, the issue here is that even if we raise the standards from the jokingly low ones we have now to higher, more efficient ones, there are still students that aren't going to be able to make those standards. And when the government sees this, they're going to automatically assume that the school's doing badly and take away their funding. So for the last 10 years, No Child Left Behind has been harming the education of millions of students. Things need to be changed, because this doesn't only affect current students, it's going to affect the world they run in the future.